Welcome to Women at Halftime podcast for men and women at mid-career or the halftime of life with issues that concern you. Maximize your skills, resources, and experience to live an even more fulfilling and significant second half of life. Right here with me, Deborah Johnson, on Women at Halftime podcast.
Well, hello, Deborah Johnson here today with a great subject, actually near and dear to my heart, making a difference in your world. And this is really why I'm doing what I'm doing at this point in my life, with the purpose that I have of helping those at mid-career, the halftime of life, or even corporations, small companies that are forced with some great changes that need to happen. And I love to help people maximize their skills, their resource, their experiences, and their uniqueness. But if you really have a drive to make a difference in your world, there are obstacles to overcome. And I'm kind of laughing because if you've followed this podcast at all, I've talked before about when I start to record, this is the time. You know, I have a home office and a home studio. This is the time the gardeners usually show up. And today was no exception. In fact, this is my third take on this to start it. And I thought, well, what a great subject, making a difference in your world. You have to be persistent. You have to persevere through. And not only the gardener came with their big lawnmower, but the blower. It is the loudest blower I've ever heard. And he stayed for a very, very long time. So it was interesting. So I'm really happy, though, to be starting this subject of making a difference, because I feel like it's so important. And people are held back by a number of things. They can think, oh, it's not perfect. I can't really pursue that. In music, my album's not just right, or I don't have the right video set up. Oh, I can't do that. I can't, you have to take some risks and just get beyond some of that. And I'm going to talk about some of that today, of making a difference in your world, because really it is really an important subject to be able to approach. So when you think of making a difference, let's evaluate this. What comes to your mind? Making a difference, sometimes we think of, okay, feeding a starving nation, or providing clean water to communities, helping the homeless, feeding the hungry. And the term making a difference, it has different meanings to different people. And it depends on the personal circumstances, even the culture and relationships. But the point to this show and the article that accompanies it is that you can live your life with a focus of making a difference, with a mindset of performing small acts of giving of yourself. And sometimes that takes persistence, doesn't it? The fear of failure and making excuses. I mean, I could have said, okay, I'm just going to put this off, are top reasons that are holding us back from making a difference. And this can keep us from doing really anything at all, adding guilt to our inaction. And we'll cover 5 action points here that will hopefully, they will help you move forward. And now as I'm listening, I'm hearing my husband pumping up bike tires. Okay, so there's all sorts of obstacles we can come across here. But our first point here is to identify your fear. And do you have a dragon hiding on your bed, under your bed? I love this illustration. You may laugh this off, but the children's book, There's No Such Thing as a Dragon, Billy Bixby, he finds this tiny dragon in his bedroom. And when his mom tells him, oh, there's no such thing as a dragon, this only makes the dragon get bigger. And soon, the dragon is bigger than Billy's house. You can't ignore it. Now, logically, this has great repercussions. Denying the existence of fear, just like denying that dragon in Billy's house, it will only give access and room for the growth of that fear mentally and in your responses. And soon your decisions and your actions, they could be driven by that fear and creating multiple excuses to deny its existence while the huge dragon of fear walks away with your house and with any thought of making a difference. I love that little story and the comparisons there. The process of journaling, even with a couple lines a day, it's such a valuable resource, and it's a great way to identify your fear. But you have to take the time to write out your thoughts and even what scares you, even a couple lines. And then reread your words, even if there are just a few and they feel nonsensical. I can't stress enough the importance of getting your thoughts down on paper. And this not only creates words for your feelings, but it will help you identify the repetition of really some fearful actions or inactions. And it'll identify some of that repetition over and over. And so journaling and writing down your thoughts, it's one way of shedding light on your fears. And then we can move to number 2. The second principle here is diffuse your fear with light. Now, if you've ever walked into a dark cave without a light source, you understand how pitch black that cave can be. I've done that before. It's scary. It's so black and dark, you can't even see your hand in front of your face. But as soon as one light source is turned on, which can even be just lighting a small match, the whole cavernous space, it's illuminated with light. And that is what shining a light does with fear. It uncovers the unknown and the blackness, and it provides actually a way out if you really look. There are a number of examples of sources of light, and one fun one is a lightsaber. And that's that laser sword and a weapon usually used by the Jedi, the Sith, and other characters of the Force in Star Wars. A lightsaber, it could cut through virtually anything, and it was used for both offense and defense in the movie. And you can actually create your own custom lightsaber at Star Wars Galaxy's Edge in Disney Park. Or it starts at several $100s to get your own lightsaber. And you can also buy a number of different lightsabers online. I've put the resource in the article if you're interested. But it's a fun way to visualize cutting through your fear. But do we use those visualizations? Well, now picture yourself in that cave, stuck in the darkness. When you diffuse the darkness with light, uncovering what was once fearful and even excused away, well, that's when you can move forward with confidence. And if you're hiding, you can't stay hidden forever. We all used to think we could, playing hide and seek growing up, right? Find a source of light that will work for you, whether it's journaling, it's counseling, or sharing with a small group of trusted contacts. I have those contacts in my life. And I've written an article about that and a podcast, actually, with the value of relationships. Make sure you look that up if you would like to. And now, after uncovering some of that fear, number 3 is to change your language. In my most recent book, The Summit, I just happened, if you're watching the video, you can see me hold this up, Journey to Hero Mountain. It's an allegory, story within a story. And the main protagonist, Mallory, which means ill-fated, she can't get to her summit without changing her language. In fact, she had to change I can't to I can, and I won't to I will. And this is a great illustration for all of us, as it confirms the value of that healthy self-talk. And words alone can't change our actions or even our outcome, as it takes more than words to make a shift in our mindsets. But what we say has the power to shed light on a dark outlook. Now that's actually kind of profound. What we say has the power to shed light on a dark outlook. And even small actions like self-talk, they have the power in making a difference in our lives, but also in the lives of others. And not everyone can give monetary resources to the extent of millionaires, billionaires, Bill Gates or Elon Musk or others, but we can all give encouragement in a number of ways to others, and that will make a difference. The principles in the book, the 5 love language, don't just apply to love relationships, but those principles also apply to work colleagues and your friendships. But if we're beating ourselves up, fearful, making multiple excuses, and the action of encouraging others doesn't stand a chance. It takes our action to get over ourselves. Then we can focus on others. So that brings me to number 4, is to quit the excuses. You can excuse your life away, constantly blaming others, and you may not even be aware of it. And that's why journaling is so valuable in writing down your thoughts. And as you reread your entries, you might find repetitions that are really quite revealing. I mention 3 principles in the article. Is it an excuse or a good reason? And all 3 principles are very valuable in the application of making a difference. And the first is avoidance. Avoidance is just delaying the inevitable. I mean, if you avoid going to the dentist, well, you'll eventually need to go either for multiple cavities or rotten teeth or a horrible toothache. Better to be consistent. Avoidance. The second principle, procrastination. Oh, that's a big one. Now, procrastination, it's similar to avoidance, but it goes further. It does no good to put off what you always thought that you would do at this point in your life, especially. In fact, if you don't start now, you may never start. Now, that's a very important point right there. And the third principle is neglect. Neglect and denial usually keep people spinning endlessly, stuck in a roundabout. And you can see what I wrote about a roundabout. It's one of the principles I talk about with the becoming a roundabout hero. And we've probably all had some neighbor who hardly ever mowed his lawn, or she neglected her dog all day while working. Their neglect directly influenced your life, the barking dogs. And the same is true with your neglect. It will influence not only someone else, but also your ability to make a difference. Well, I want to move on to one more point here, is to tell somebody, to share maybe some of your struggles. And the value of quality relationships and connections can't be overstated. And actually, it adds some accountability. When you tell someone your plans, you add that accountability and a healthy push to get you where you want to be. Now, part of my core values in my personal and professional life is adding that accountability with a small group of women in my life. And I talk about this in my article, Core Values. Now, I have 4 ladies that are a part of my inner circle of contacts, and I share more with them than most of my other friends. And we share, we pray together, and we give input when asked. And I talk about relationship circles and in chapter 7, actually, in the book, Women at Halftime. I have a copy here too, but I'm not going to hold it up. But it's a great book, Women at Halftime. And I encourage you to read that chapter and apply it to your life. It will make a difference. And if it makes a difference in you, you can make a difference in your world and with others. When you tell somebody your plan, it adds more of a timeline in taking action. And making a difference for you, it might include those small actions like running a 5K or riding your bike for a cause. You don't have to start a nonprofit or donate millions of dollars to further a mission or even to make a difference. It's usually those small actions that add up to a huge impact. Just like implementing a small, tiny habit will eventually reap really great results. And if you are at mid-career or the halftime of life, officially over the age of 40, there's no time like the present to start making a difference. Think through this carefully and take action in overcoming fear, or at least confronting it, and confronting your procrastination and excuses, because our world needs you. And you might be doing some of that self-talk thinking, I'm past my prime. Can I really do this? What I do, will it really make a difference? There is new research coming out. I'm keeping up with some of that. It's coming out constantly of medical advances, of some of the CRISPR technology that enables us to, replace organs and other health issues. And our lifespans stand to, within the next 5 years, increase exponentially. What used to be a lifespan of maybe to 80 or 90 now can go clear into the hundreds. And we have time. Don't quit at this point, at least to do something small. Don't feel like you've got to do, if you've worked your whole life, it's like, okay, I need time to rest. I'm just going to do this. But take some risks, make a difference. It might make you feel good just to show up and do something, but at least make a difference in what you can uniquely do. You have gifts that I will never have. Anybody listening to this, we are all made uniquely in our own, the look that we have, the abilities that we have. You have a uniqueness. And I want to encourage you and inspire you in this. Because again, going back to my teaching career, which I started at 13, I have found teaching all levels, all ages, all the way through graduates, everybody, more is caught than taught. And you can think, I don't have enough to give. No, you have enough to inspire somebody else to move forward in their life. And I just really want to encourage you with that as you look to make a difference in your world. So I hope you've enjoyed this today. I love the subject, and I hope it inspires you in some way to make a difference. And I'll look forward to being with you next time. Deborah Johnson, womenathalftime.com. You can reach me anytime there or in a number of my social media channels. And I'll look forward to being with you one more time next time. Thanks again. Bye for now.
Thank you for joining us. It is because of our wonderful listeners like you that we keep going strong week after week. Share and follow us for new shows to inspire you and encourage you in your life's journey. You can find all of our articles and links at womenathalftime.com.